One reason entrepreneurs fail. That's what I want to talk to you about today. What's the number one reason entrepreneurs fail? And what's your reason why? Like, what's the reason you do everything that you do? My name is Rebecca Cramer, and I am going to go over, some things that are actually really important. As entrepreneurs, our mindset is really everything. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching, I have Instagram here. I have some other YouTube and Facebook and a few different things. LinkedIn, hello, here. I want to go over with you the number one reason that entrepreneurs fail and how you can actually prevent that. Because I know that you're different. I know that you're not the same. I know that you are destined for something much more amazing than average. So I want to invite you to go ahead and if you're on Instagram, hit that little airplane button and send this to someone who you think would need it. If you are watching this live, throw live in the chat. If you're watching this as a replay, hashtag replay. So what is the number one thing that the number one reason that entrepreneurs fail? We know that being an entrepreneur is difficult. We know it's a massive challenge. It's hard to keep going as an entrepreneur. Maybe you got into this whole situation as an entrepreneur because you had a hobby that you liked. You had a life-changing experience with products that you used. Maybe you just had an idea and you followed that idea, you followed that opportunity, you followed that dream, and now you're here. And I know as an entrepreneur, it's hard. It's definitely hard. You maybe have, if you're in franchise, maybe you have a roadmap, but most of us get into being an entrepreneur, get into entrepreneurship kind of not really knowing what comes next. Well, here's the thing. With anything that you want to be successful, you have to keep doing the hard things. And as an entrepreneur, that doesn't always mean that you do it to the level that you expect. I'll tell you, the number one reason that entrepreneurs fail is because they underestimate the amount of effort required to be successful, and they stop before they reach that point, before they reach the point of massive success. Entrepreneurs fail. The number one reason that entrepreneurs fail is because they underestimate the amount of effort required. And I think that, there are things that look like they come easy to people who you might see on social media, who you might see being successful. It looks like it was really easy, but I assure you, the effort that went into that success was consistent, was massive. The effort that went into that success was not just from one time, not just from a small amount of effort. The amount of effort that was required to reach that high level of success was actually repetitive and consistent and took massive amounts of effort. So because I know that this is a really hard thing, I know that being an entrepreneur and keeping on going and maybe going when you are not feeling like you're going anywhere and you're not feeling like you feel like you're, like treading your tire, or I don't know what it's called, like running your tires in mud. I get it. I know that. I've been there. I'll tell you, you need to think about your why. You need to understand your why. You need to understand your why, and then you need to take action. Because when you take action and when you're consistent and when you give it your all and keep going and don't stop, that's when you're going to reach the heightened levels of success that you're here for. That's the reason you're here. The reason you're here is to reach those goals, to reach those massive levels of success. And if you don't get there, it's not about if you don't get there. I shouldn't talk like that. You're going to get there. I know that you know that you're an expert and that you can solve problems. Maybe you can change people's lives. Whatever the case might be, whether you have a product or service, you solve a problem, and you need to be so passionate about that problem that you solve, so convinced that in your product, believe in your product, believe in the fact that it can solve a problem, that you do reach those levels of heightened success, which are gonna require massive action, consistent massive action. So I would encourage you today to figure out what your why is, because you're going to need to think back to that on a regular basis, especially as an entrepreneur. You're going to need to think back to, why am I doing this in the first place? What amount of effort am I willing to do what it takes to reach that goal, to reach that heightened level of success that I know that I'm capable of? I just need to keep going. So I just wanted to share that with you and really encourage you to figure out your why. I do want to also mention, I actually have a boot camp, a business boot camp that is starting February 14th. It is called, what is it called? Unstuck and Unstoppable Business Boot Camp. So February 14th, I have the link below. If you're watching here, if you're on Instagram, I will throw that link in my bio. I don't have it yet. And send me a DM though. If you have any questions, I would love to help you get unstuck and, of course, unstoppable, because you are an entrepreneur and that's what we do. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, Rebecca Cramer here today, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me.